Welcome to the Shekina Meditation Podcast, created by Shekina Community members. Shekina communities are dedicated to creating free devotional spaces of Christian practice for spiritual seekers and travelers around the world. We post Christ-centered guided meditation each week to help you in your personal or small group practice. You can find episode show notes and other information at shekinacommunity.com. Hi there, this is Ray.
And this is Neil.
This is week 16 of the podcast, and we are calm of heart and peaceful of mind to be here.
It's Thursday, the 20th of December, as we record this.
Listeners, this podcast is supported by you. Because this podcast is about meditation, we want to keep it ad-free. Our beloved patrons at patreon.com support us for as little as $1 a month. And patrons get extra audio every month. You can find us at patreon.com/Shekina Meditation Podcast.
Supporting this podcast helps to keep Shekina communities running and free for travelers and spiritual seekers. And it helps us know that you appreciate what we're doing in putting this podcast into the world. Patrons, you're the best. You are like a basket of perfectly folded laundry.
That's a beautiful thing. How was your week, Neil?
My week has been a slower week on purpose. I've, as you know, I'm a raging introvert.
Yes.
Yes.
Emphasis on the raging.
Raging, yes.
No, just kidding. Yeah,
And-
you're very much an introvert.
And knowing that we have our Christmas Eve celebration coming up, I've been purposefully holding back a bit to recharge my batteries a bit.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's been nice.
Yeah.
Today I did some bricklaying to try to finish off those garden walls. Slowly, day by day, well, week by week,
They're getting done.
and getting done. Yeah.
That's nice. And they look so beautiful too.
Yeah.
They're gorgeous. It's like red bricks in the green grass,
Yeah.
and then there's earth and plants, and very
Yeah.
beautiful.
That's right. Today we had Kwa Dao, a bake sale for them at the garden.
Who's Kwa Dao again?
Kwa Dao is a foundation in Pai that supports refugee kids, mostly Burmese refugee kids. Yeah, to help give them a bit more of a better education and better start in life.
Cool.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, so we do a bake sale for them once a month or so, something like that. And usually it's my family who pretty much buys all the baking, but I think today they forgot that it was happening.
Oh,
so there's a
that's
little
right.
less
They were
sugar
not
in their
there.
bellies, and hopefully other people got to buy all the stuff.
How about you?
It was a good week. Yeah, I'm trying to think of the week. Sunday was lovely. A big Sunday, big lunch. And then Chinua guided devotion circle on Monday, and he talked about the kingdom of God, and we all discussed that for a while, and that was lovely. And there was this guy that came out of nowhere and had all this knowledge, and that's always interesting when someone shows up and they've studied what you're talking about, and then you have this kind of deeper discussion. And by the end of the night, we were all I think we all felt very encouraged, like it was a really good night. And yeah, what else? I guided an art meditation, and mostly I've been focused on getting ready for the Christmas celebration that we're going to have. So we're having a big party and like dinner and celebration on Christmas Eve, and I'm writing a story for that and trying to set up like some program stuff. And I don't know, I guess because it's important and I want it to be good, I've been meeting a little bit of resistance as I'm trying to write it. So I'm pushing through and hoping it's going to be good. But today was a good writing day, so.
Yeah, I look forward to it.
Yeah, and then we got some news from our sister community in Goa. Yeah. You want to tell us what they've been up to?
Let me see. Yes, they have 10 people creating community rhythms and sharing life together this season, which is fantastic.
Yeah. Sometimes they have new people every season, so it's always interesting for them.
Yeah, for that community to form together. And and they've been preparing for Christmas as well this week. And enjoying old and new connections with people from around the world joining for meals and meditations. Yeah. And they had their first movement meditation this season today, which is great.
Yeah, that is great. I'm wondering who led it. Maybe it was, I don't know who it was. But anyway, the woman who normally guides their meditations, their movement meditations, isn't there this season. So
Yeah,
I guess they're starting with new stuff.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Today's meditation is a lectio divina on Genesis 28, verse 15, and it's guided by Brendan. We finally have Brendan on the podcast, so that's exciting. And it's recorded live at Shekina Garden in Thailand. The meditation will have 3 parts. During the first, Brendan will help you prepare for meditation with some exercises and getting yourself to a place of stillness. And he'll repeat the verse slowly with a lot of space in between, and he has some questions for contemplation. And for the third part, you can either journal your experience or you can share in a small group if you've been listening in a group. If you're in a small group, try to share from the heart and really listen to one another as you share. There's no experience that's too small to share. And if you're on your own, you can try to journal it out. Write a few bullet points of what happened, and that helps to fix it in your memory and your heart as you go on through the rest of your week.
Well, let's begin.
Good morning. Welcome everybody to Shekina Garden. Lovely to have you with us. Really excited to be here this morning. Such a big little circle and such a beautiful rangoli that we made last night at our devotion circle. So welcome to this time of Christ-centered meditation. As a Jesus devotional community, I'd love to take a few moments to explain what Christian meditation is, Christ-centered meditation is. And I want to explain it this morning using this idea of breath. Breath comes up a lot through these scriptures that we revere. Many different usages, but right in the beginning of the story of God creating the world, it says that God made a person, and there was a person there, but that person didn't have life yet. And God breathed into the nostrils of that person, and that person became alive. The idea of the breath of God literally making this person walk, stand, live, move, breathe, love, was the breath of God going into the nostrils of Adam, of the first person. Poetic or literal, don't need to go into that at all. So that's one quick usage, this profound idea of life coming through the breath of God. If we fast forward a lot through the scriptures, we get to Jesus. Jesus has done the ultimate act for humanity, which is dying and then rising again. He's died and risen, and he's appeared to his disciples. And then he says, he breathes on them and says, receive, does he say receive my spirit? My peace I give you, my spirit. Is that what? He breathes his spirit upon them. So the breath of Jesus bringing his spirit, bringing his peace, breathing upon the disciples and giving them this comfort, this peace, this thing that they've lost because they lost him, but then they had him back again, and he breathes his peace on them. So the breath of God the Father, the breath of God the Son, bringing peace, bringing transformation, bringing life. And as Christians, we believe that these words in these scriptures are the words breathed of God. So the breath of God has written these words. So these words contain life, contain peace, contain power to transform, and they certainly have transformed my life. And so this time of Christ-centered meditation this morning, Christian meditation, we're going to focus on the breathed words of God and allow them, or at least there's the possibility for these words to work in our hearts and work in our minds and transform us as we listen and as we receive, and as the breath of God through these words comes over us and into us and does its work within us. So that's one explanation. There's many different explanations of Christian meditation, but that's one explanation this morning. So what we're going to do is, there's three parts. The first part is preparing ourselves. We're going to prepare our bodies and our minds for the meditation. So just some simple exercises, and I'll talk us through that. Then our time of meditation will be on one short sentence in these scriptures from the book of Genesis, chapter 28, verse 15. A very short but beautiful. We come together as friends, and we come to learn together, learn from each other. So we speak kindly and respectfully, even if people have different views, and we don't argue across the circle. We just share of the experience that it's been for you this morning. And the stick will go around 2 times. There's no pressure to share whatsoever. If you'd like to just pass the stick on to the person on your left, that's totally fine. But you'll have 2 chances to share this morning. And that's a lovely gift that we can give to each other as we share openly and honestly of our experience of meditation. So, time of preparation, time of meditating on these words of Scripture, and then the talking stick. And then have some peppermint tea over there. So, let's begin. Let's begin with our time of preparation. I'll talk us through, and I'd like to invite you to find a posture that's comfortable, and close your eyes, and we will begin. Friends, please know the welcome of God this morning. Jesus says to us this morning, you are welcome. You are welcome here in this space. As we prepare our bodies and our minds and our hearts for this time of meditation this morning, be aware of your body. How does your body feel this morning? As we sit in meditation, and of course we have the freedom to move as you need. If you need to stand and stretch, or if you need the bathroom, please, that's fine. But as we sit this morning in meditation, be particularly aware of the posture of your spine. Sit nice and tall and strong, but don't be stiff. Think of yourself as a tree planted in the ground, strong and firm, but able to move and able to sway, relaxed. Be aware of your shoulders and pull them back just a little, opening up your chest cavity, allowing the air to flow in and the air to flow out. can you feel the wind on your skin? Where can you feel the sensation of the cool breeze? Friends, be aware of the different parts of your body this morning. Be aware of your feet, give them a wriggle. Your toes. Those feet of yours have, I trust, served you well, kept you moving for a long time. If those feet of yours could speak to you of the last days, maybe the last week, what would they tell you? What would your feet tell you of the journey that you've had over this last week? In these last days, over this last week, your hands, what have your hands done? Has there been work? Has there been play? Has there been hands used to embrace? Has there been fists made to fight? If your hands could speak to you now, what would they say to you of this last week? And as we think of these last days, and we think of this last week, and we think of this last season for you, if you're traveling, if you're staying put, if you're in transition, if your heart could speak to you, and our hearts do speak to us, what does your heart say this morning? How are you traveling? How are you doing this morning? Let your heart speak and listen to what your heart says. Friends, let's focus on our breathing. Remember your posture, your spine, tall, strong, but not stiff, comfortable, shoulders back, opening up your chest. Take some deep breaths. Remembering the introduction about the breath of God breathing life into that first person. The breath of Jesus breathing out His peace, breathing out His Spirit on His people. As you breathe in, I invite you to say a silent breath prayer, asking Jesus to come. To fill you. To create life inside you. To bring His peace to your feet, to your hands, to your heart. As you take each breath, notice how your whole body responds. Your whole body shifts. Your whole body moves with each and every breath. Friends, listen to the sounds around you this morning. Tune your ears. Be prepared to listen and to hear. What's the furthest sound that you can hear this morning? How many birds and animals can you identify right now? Friends, this morning we've taken some time to listen to our bodies, to be aware of our bodies, to focus on our breath. Invited to ask Jesus to fill us with His Spirit. We've taken some time to listen as we move to our time of meditation this morning. I want to tell, with your eyes closed, invite you to listen in. We're going to meditate on what happened to a man named Jacob. He was a young man. He was in a complicated situation with his family, with his brother Esau, with his father, with his mother. There was some shady things going on. There was some deceit. There was some legal technicalities. And after doing something which I think brought shame upon himself, as he acted in a way that was deceitful, his brother was enraged with him. His brother Esau wanted to kill him. And Jacob's mother said, "You need to run. You need to flee. You need to go to your uncle's house, and he lives 900 kilometers away." This young man packs his bag, leaves the family that he's grown up with, and all alone sets off on a journey which is equivalent from here to Bangkok, walking all alone. When I think of, as I read that story some time ago and just thought about how he would feel, the fear, the uncertainty, the loss, the unknown. And it was in that context when God spoke to him in a dream, and He said 3 things. He said, "I am with you. I will watch over you. I will not leave you." I want to focus on those 3 incredible statements this morning. As God says to this young and somewhat foolish man, and He says it to us this morning. Not that I'm saying you're young or foolish. Well, I know I am. God says, "I am with you." As we listen and as we invite God in, He says to us, "I am with you." These words are for this moment right now, for this time right now, for this circle right now. I am with you. Lately there's a lot of talk about being present in the present moment. That's a good thing and that's a helpful thing. But as followers of Christ, we have something even more beautiful. It's not just being present and aware, but it's the presence of God, the presence of Christ with us now. He says, I am with you. The next statement of God to the young man Jacob was a statement for tomorrow. The first promise is for the now, I am with you. The second promise is I will watch over you. That's a promise for tomorrow. God has our tomorrows in His control. He will be with us tomorrow. He will look out for us tomorrow. We don't have to fear tomorrow. I will watch over you. Do you struggle with anxiety? Do you struggle with worry for what the future holds? Like me, do you like to be in control? We can put that aside and listen to the words of God. I will watch over you. as Jacob sets out on this incredibly long and difficult journey alone, God says, you're not alone. I will watch over you. Friends, as we move to our third and final promise statement, be aware of your posture again. Strong and firm, but also comfortable. You might want to take some deep breaths and that silent breath prayer, inviting God, inviting His Spirit to come in, to speak to you, to change you. The third promise for Jacob and for us this morning is what God will never do. God says to Jacob, I will not leave you. I will not leave you. Isn't that the longing of our hearts? That someone, that a good person, that a wife, that a husband, that a partner, that a child will, an adult child will look after us till the end of our days, that they will not leave us. This is the promise that God makes to Jacob and makes to those that invite him in. I will not leave you. And those exact words are picked up by Jesus as he says to his disciples, I'll never leave you. I'll never forsake you. I'll be with you always, to the very end of the age. The Father and the Son say to us this morning, I will never leave you. I will never leave you. going to say these 3 promises to us all again one more time. And then we'll pass the talking stick. God promised to Jacob, and He promises to us. I am with you. I will watch over you. I will never leave you. Well, friends, take a moment to come back to the space between us. When you're ready, open your eyes and enjoy the Rangoli before you, and we'll pass the talking stick in a moment.
When you are ready, take a few deep breaths and begin your time of journaling or sharing with others. Thank you for joining today. There will be a new guided meditation each week, so don't forget to subscribe on iTunes or sign up for our newsletter to get podcasts delivered to your inbox at www.shekinacommunity.com/podcast newsletter. Have a beautiful week. Blessings to you.